everyone, it's Lisa Mears. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a super cute mini card and envelope that's perfect for Valentine's Day using some brand new products from Scrap Diva Designs. I'll be making a fun mini shaker card featuring the Heart Cherries Die Set, and I'll also walk you through creating a coordinating envelope using the 3x3 envelope with liner die set. This sweet card and matching envelope are perfect for Valentine's Day or honestly any time of year when you want to spread a little love. So here's a look at the Heart Cherries die set. There are several different pairs of cherries in different sizes, and there's even some outline dies that you can use to make them into shakers. There are also some dies to cut the leaves, and notice that those cherries are heart-shaped. And here is a look at the 3x3 envelope with liner die set. The die on the right makes the actual envelope, and the die on the left makes a liner for the inside. There's also some circle dies with stitching and a scallop circle on the right side that you can use for layering pieces on either your envelope or even cards. If you are interested in any of these products, be sure to check the description box for product links and also use my coupon code LisaMears to save 10% on your purchase. So for my card today, I will be using the smaller cherry dies as well as the outline that corresponds with it and the leaves. I do want to point out to you though that there are some cherries that have circles that extend at the end of the stems, like this one here. You can see that this one does not. And those are if you wanted to, let's say, put some twine and wrap a little bow around there, or if you wanted to use these cherries as a tag, you can do that. So you have those options. So using the pair of cherries, smallest die, and the smallest leaves die, I die cut a piece of this mixed media cardstock from scrapbook.com. So that's just some white mixed media cardstock, which is going to allow me to color these up with my watercolor pens. And then I took this outline die and I die cut 7 of the heart-shaped cherries, and that will cut out just the outline or the frame. And notice it cuts not only the outline or frame, but you can see the stack of hearts that is down below, which I'm not going to be using those, but I did want to show you that it does cut those hearts out. So I'm going to put those aside. I will not be using those today, but I'm going to start out by just adding some color to these white die cuts. Now, you don't have to do this. You can actually just die cut these pieces with green cardstock for the leaves or red cardstock for the cherries. But the reason I chose to do it this way is because I wanted my leaves to have a little bit of depth to them, because I wanted to add some shading with a couple different colors of my Zig Clean Color markers. So I put a darker green color on the edges of the leaves and then a lighter color in the middle, and then I just took my blender and just blended those together. And I'm also going to color up the stem in the same green color. So I use the light green and the green markers to do this, and I'm also coloring the outside so that it's not white when it goes on my card. I want it still to have that green color on the edge of that cardstock. Now for the inside, for the hearts, I'm just going to color this in one color, which is my strawberry red color. I'm not going to worry about shading because you're not going to really be able to see the shading much on these heart cherries, just because this is going to be the back side of my shaker. So remember, I am making a shaker today, and that's why I die cut those 7 outline frames, because those are going to be stacked on top of that solid cherry piece. And that's what's going to be holding all of my shaker bits inside. So you'll see that as we progress through this tutorial. Now, if you're not into shakers, you can still use this die set to make a really cute set of cherries. You don't have to turn this into a shaker, but you can if you want to, and that's what these frames are for. So next, I took the same die that I've been working with, and I die cut a piece of acetate just on the heart-shaped portion of those cherries. I didn't have to worry about the stem. So just die cut some acetate, and then I'm going to glue one of those frames to the acetate. And I'm going to let that dry with an acrylic block on top, just so that I can get a very good seal. Next, I'm going to glue the remaining 6 cherry outline die cuts together. This step is important because it helps build up the height of the cherry frame, and by stacking these die cuts, I'm creating a raised edge which will give the shaker pieces enough room to move around inside the well. This is a simple trick that makes all the difference in ensuring that the shaker is both fun and functional. A quick tip that I have for you for making sure that you have the right amount of cardstock layers is after stacking your die cuts, try placing one of your shaker pieces inside the well. If the layers are taller than the shaker piece, then you're good to go. But if not, you'll need to add more cardstock layers to give the shaker pieces plenty of room to move around inside. And I did end up adding 2 more pieces of red frames. So next I'm going to add my stacked die cuts to the solid cherry piece. Just going to press that down really well, and I'm going to let that sit and dry for just a few minutes. Next I'll add some of my shaker pieces inside of those hearts, and then I'll put glue along the top of that frame, and then I'll take the top piece with the acetate and add it right on top. Just going to use an acrylic block to hold that down. Make sure it's completely dry, and then I'm going to add my leaves. And that's how you turn these little heart cherry dies into a fun little shaker element. So now I'm going to add these to a mini card. I have a piece of heart pattern paper, and this is double-sided. This is from a Doodlebug collection. I cut that down to about a 3-inch square, and then I used these circle dies. These are from the envelope die set from Scrap Diva that I showed you earlier. I die cut the scalloped heart circle out of the white cardstock, and then there are 2 other stitched circle frame dies. I die cut the larger one out of a green cardstock and the smaller one out of a white cardstock, and I'm just going to layer those 2 together, and then I'll put that on top of that scalloped heart circle frame. Next I'm going to add that circle to the center of my square card, and I'll add the cherries right to the center. I'm also going to add a sentiment on the front that says "Be Mine," and that's from Pretty Pink Posh. It's one of their Valentine sentiments. So now I'm going to create a matching envelope using this envelope die with liner, and I'm going to use the 12 by 12 piece of paper, but I wanted to show you that you can use this die to die cut a 6 by 6 piece of paper because it does fit perfectly over a 6 by 6 piece of paper. I'm just going to cut this 12 by 12 piece down to size. Again, this is from a Doodlebug collection, and then I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. And here's what it looks like when it comes out of the die cut machine. And because I use pattern paper, it is double-sided, but you won't be seeing the other side because I will be putting a liner on the inside of the envelope. So this envelope does have the score lines, and you just simply fold at those score lines. So I'm going to go ahead and fold these corners down. And once it's all folded, then you can use your adhesive to secure those folds down. But before I do that, I am going to create a liner for the inside. And again, because I use pattern paper, I don't necessarily have to use this die, but it's in the die set if you wanted to use it. So I'm going to take the die and die cut this piece of pattern paper. And there's also this small decorative die that's included, and this will die cut little hearts around the edge. So I'm just going to place this die right along the pointed part of this liner. I'm going to hold it down with some mint tape and run that through my die cutting machine, and you can see that it puts those hearts right along the edge. And this die also puts in a score line there at the top. I'm just going to fold this down, and then I'm going to get my envelope, and you can see how it just sets right inside of the envelope. Now, since the pattern paper that shows up on the back is very light, there's not much contrast, so that the hearts are a little bit difficult to see. through those heart openings. So what I'm going to do is I am going to layer a piece of red cardstock behind it. So I took that same die and die cut a piece of red cardstock. I didn't worry about die cutting the whole thing because I knew I was going to cut just the top part off of it. And you can see when you place that behind, you now can see those red hearts so much better. So I'm going to trim this down just a little bit more because I want to make sure that this top pointed part will easily be able to fold when my envelope is closed. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back, and I'm going to add the red cardstock, and I think that looks so much better. Now keep in mind you can always die cut your envelope with a piece of red cardstock and then layer the liner right on top of the envelope, and then you would be able to skip that step. So I'm going to go ahead and place this liner right on the envelope. And to reduce some of the bulk inside of the envelope, I am going to cut the bottom part of this liner off because remember, I don't want to have so much bulk because my card is already going to be thick enough because I turned it into a shaker. So after cutting it off, I'll go ahead and glue this down to the envelope and press that down, and then you can fold in your flaps and you can adhere those flaps. Now before I do that, I'm going to grab my card, and because I made this into a shaker, it is pretty thick. Now I'm going to place this thick card inside the envelope die cut before I adhere the flaps. And this is an important step because it allows me to build the envelope to the right size. So if I were to adhere the flaps first, I might end up with an envelope that's too tight to fit the thick card inside. And by doing it this way, I can make sure there's just enough room for the card to slide in easily without any issues. So I went ahead and attached the left and right side first by just putting a little piece of glue right in the center of the very pointed part of that flap, and then I'm going to apply some adhesive to the bottom flap, and I'll bring that up and press that down really well. Now if you wanted to leave the top part open, you can, or you can close it. It's up to you. You can give it as is, or you can even put this envelope on the front of a card with the top open. I think that would be super cute. I added a word that says love you to the flap, and I got that from the Scrap Diva Designs Valentine Words 3 die set. The words come with 3 different layers. I've only used the actual letters. So the first layer, I didn't use any of the shadow because I wanted to see that pattern paper underneath, but I applied it to my envelope flap. I think that turned out super cute. You can use this die for little Valentine notes or even everyday notes. You can give them to friends, family. You can even use these as lunchbox notes for your kids. Just drop these in the lunchbox. I think this would be a really cute idea. I love how that die looks with all of that pattern paper. It's so pretty. Now really quick, I want to show you this other die that looks like the top of a clipboard. You can see how it die cuts this little clipboard edge with the hearts. I just added it to the top of a piece of a cardstock, and that die is also included with this envelope die. So I hope you like this video today. If you are interested in any of the products, check the description box below and be sure to use my coupon code Lisa Mears for 10% off your purchase. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you like videos like this and want to see more, make sure you click that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.